here we are again for another episode of Tuesday Talks, and we have another special guest. Hey, all our guests are special. This one's extra special. We have Crystal Brown from PRMI, Primary Residential Mortgage Inc. And thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. We wouldn't spend our afternoon any other way. And by the way, if you don't know Crystal, you can always find her with her teal colored business card. So lovely card. I love how it matches your jacket on this business card. It also has a QR code so you can keep it on your phone. So Crystal, our first question to you, it comes from Mayor Robin Laubaugh, Mayor of Wadsworth. And she asked, if you had $100,000 windfall that you could not spend on paying bills or even saving, what would you spend that on?
Ooh, I would definitely say to travel. I love to travel. One of my destinations that I want to go to is Hawaii. And so I want to check out Hawaii, and I did learn that there's a cruise that actually goes around to all the different islands. So I want to check into that.
Oh, that's a really good one. $100,000. You can certainly do everything you want to do with that. Enjoy the beaches and whatnot. Yeah, that sounds like fun. So, Crystal, our first question to you. What are the 5 C's of qualifying for a home loan?
Yes, great question. So the first one is going to be credit. So when it comes to credit, a lot of borrowers will think what my credit score is, and that is just a piece to the credit. Really, what a lender is looking at is the body of the credit. We're looking at the different types of credit that you have. Are you making your payments on time? If you've had any past judgments or bankruptcies. So we're really looking at that full credit body for the credit option. The second C that we're looking at is looking at the collateral. And so what type of property are you looking to purchase? If it's going to be your primary home, or is it going to be an investment property? Those details matter. And as a lender, we strongly recommend that they partner with a trusted real estate agent to help them in this collateral piece in selecting the appropriate property. The third C, so we talked about credit, we talked about collateral, is going to be capital. So when it comes to purchasing a home, we need to talk about how much are you willing to put down for your down payment, and also looking at your closing cost. And in some instances, some borrowers may need to have reserves, meaning they have to have so much money saved up in order to show that they have some assets when they go to closing on their loan. So it's important that you work with a lender that you can trust and have some really detailed information in there to have honest conversations around your capital. And there are programs out there to help someone if they don't necessarily have all of the capital. The fourth C is actually one of the most important, and that's going to be on the capacity to pay. And so your lender is going to be looking at your debt to income ratio. And so that's where you're looking at what your gross monthly income is and kind of taking that into consideration against your financial obligations. And so that's looking at a lot of the items that report on the credit report, not necessarily your phone bill or your utilities, but we're really looking at what is that debt to income. And that's where we see commonly where someone may make a lot of money coming in, but they may be overextended in the financial obligations. And then the fifth C is actually one that I like to add in to the scenario, and that's credible. And that's really where you should make a wise choice as a borrower to work with a lender that you know, that you like, and that you trust. This is going to be one of your largest financial purchases that you're going to make. And you really need to feel comfortable to have those open conversations around your down payment, your cost, your finances, and truly look at the whole picture of the loan, because your loan advisor should look at, and tailor that program to what your needs are.
Right. Okay.
So
that's your 5 C's.
Those are the 5 C's.
Question number 2.
Okay.
We hear a lot about points. What are points? What is a point? And should somebody pay on them? Should they pay points?
Yeah. So commonly now we hear about what's your rate. And from a lender side, we look at kind of what's called par, and that's really what the starting point is for rates when mortgage lenders go out, and it's kind of based off of what it is at that point in time of day. And then what a borrower has an option to do is looking at buying down that rate to get a lower rate, and there is a fee that's involved in kind of getting that lower rate. And so generally 1 point, buying down 1 point, is about 1% of your loan amount. And so what I advise is when a borrower is considering whether they should buy down points is work with your loan advisor to have them run an analysis. Have them look at what is that monthly payment going to be from what that starting rate is for the day,
Okay.
versus what's it going to be if I were to buy down points, so you can figure out what the difference in payment is. How much is that going to save you over the kind of the life of the loan and upfront monthly? But then also look at what's the total cost to buy down that point, and figure that out based off of how many months is it going to take you to kind of recoup and break even. And so then that way the borrower can make an informed decision as to, is this smart, is this wise for me to buy down this point?
Okay. So number 3, are all pre-qualifications equal? What should a borrower know about a pre-qualification?
So the short answer is no, not all pre-qualifications are the same. And that's because lenders do pre-qualifications differently. For example, there are some lenders that may just rely on a borrower to state how much they make. They may not actually verify the income that's coming through from the actual employer. And we know that really can vary from person to person, because a lot of times there's bonuses or overtime that sometimes borrowers will include in it, but it may not be able to be included from a lender side. A lender may not go through the entire credit body, and so they're really not necessarily looking at all of those financial obligations into that. And so one thing that's really different with primary residential mortgage, what we do is a lot of vetting up front before we actually do the pre-qualification, because the last thing we want to see is for someone to be pre-qualified, go out, work with one of your agents, find that perfect home, go under contract, and then find out down the road that their debt to income is too high, or something from a financial side throws it off, and we have to walk away from the property. We're doing that detailed review of the credit report. In addition, we actually run it through an automated underwriting system. And so all loan products have an underwriting system that loans go through. And so we do that ahead of time to make sure that we've got a kind of a clear or a pass with that. It doesn't catch everything, but will potentially identify a number of red flags right out the gate.
And it'll certainly help, because I know that, it happens more often than we think, where you come to the end of that time to close and everything, and then bam, something's wrong that wasn't taken into account. So getting to know you a little bit, why did you get into lending?
So interestingly enough, so my background was actually in public service. And so I would actually help people into employment, or helping businesses with expanding and kind of building their talent. So I have this social service background of wanting to serve others. And actually the opportunity was presented to me, and they were looking at expanding the footprint here in Northeast Ohio, specifically within Medina County. And that's where my family and we've got 4 kids, and we've lived here in Medina for the last, almost 7 years now. So it was just a wonderful opportunity where I can still provide services to people. I can help them with their finances, really educate them on their finances, whether it's the home or whether it's on the credit side. And I get to serve our community. My kids and I were always at community events or sports, whatever it may be, and so I actually get to provide services daily to our community members.
And you still are involved. I know I see you a lot. You're always around, especially with the board and anything related to real estate. That's a fact. We do see a lot of you, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
In Medina County. So that I kind of cheated. You got 4 questions, but that's okay. The next thing is that you have a question for the next person.
Yes.
What's that question?
Okay. So that question is, if you must sing karaoke, what song would you pick?
Okay, good one again. It's a wide range, wide scope. If you were to sing karaoke, what song would you pick? All right, so guys, there you have it from Crystal Brown with Primary Residential Mortgage Inc. If you don't know her, again, it's the teal business card. You'll see it anywhere you go. So, Crystal, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Meru.
We appreciate your input and your involvement in the community. Don't forget, if you're serious about real estate, we're serious about you. Bye for now.